Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. I have a plethora of things I'm going to be showcasing for you guys tonight. These are going to be my personal selections, and I do hope that you enjoy. Getting things kickstarted is going to be Atlanteans. So it's safe to assume that Atlantean Mermails, as you can see right here as well, is definitely a fanboy fodder deck. This is one of the all-time biggest popularity water decks. It's an amazingly fun shotgun deck to play, and there's definitely some well-needed reprints, more specifically for Dragoons. I mean, the last reprint that we saw was the Ultimate Rare, Dawning Astral Pack 2, and the Super Rares original prints out of the original Structure deck are going for some pretty incredible price points, even set alone, which is pretty incredible. I remember when these used to be like 3 bones all day long, but new standard market price for stacks is about almost 6 bones a piece with 99-cent shipping. If you take off the stacks, it's still going to be roughly around 5 bones. So definitely well needed. I think it would be ideal and just completely amazing if Konami decided to make a secret rare print of Dragoons. I think that would be really fine by the player base. I think that would be aesthetically just most amazing way to see this, because the ultimate rares are just so ungodly expensive and relatively kind of unattainable for the most part. But I would really like to see some reprints for this. Moving on to Mermails here as well. Again, like I mentioned before, I think the all-time underrated is Abyssus, the secret rare prints dawning out of Generation 1. Battles of Legend, Light's Revenge. This is really, really good. This is a transition set, updated Holo Foiling, just insanely affordable for what it is, and just a really great alternative print compared to the Ultimate Rare, which obviously is going to be a lot more expensive. But again, I feel like the reprints have been a little bit more abundant, a little bit more generous on this for the Mermail side, and this has been pretty nice. I think it'd be relatively more joyful if we had a little bit more secret rare reprints to this, but all around it's just an amazing deck in general, and I just kind of wanted to showcase it. And I think that it would be really, we're about due for some new support. I think it'd be really cool to see some new Atlantean or Milmo support for this deck, because it's just an all-around fanboy deck. Really great stuff. Alright, so the next card I have to showcase for you guys tonight is going to be Tri-Infecting Virus. Going back all the way to Generation 1, very nostalgic. One of my all-time favorite super rare cards of all time. The artwork is just completely unparalleled on this. Again, I'm really big into water stuff, water aqua, really cool artwork, very nostalgic. And if you look at the market here, stacks are completely gone for near mint and lightly played. So if we take off stacks, starting market price for the unlimited lightly played is 16 bones. Near mint is going to go to roughly around 18. There's 4 pages of availability. First edition on the market goes to a whopping 45 bones for lightly played. If you want near mint first edition, the first copy is going to be almost just a phantom under 50 bones. So there's been some exponential growth in this, and it's actually interesting enough that there's no more stacks here, particularly on the TCG platform, which is really crazy. Next is going to be Generation 4. So this was an amazing set because, just like Battles of Legends Gen 1, this was a huge transition set. This was the set that donned us the Era 1 of XYZs. This was an amazing set. I believe this was around 2011-ish era of Yu-Gi-Oh! It was a really amazing time. There was a lot of fun decks going around at that time. Very nostalgic set. And again, black's my favorite color, and XYZs are definitely one of my all-time, well, they are my all-time favorite extra deck monsters. So really, really special place in my heart for this set in general, and just some amazing history merit behind this set. And there's just some really infamous cards. Like we got Ghost number 17, Ultimate Rare Levier, Steel Storm Roach was a really big one back in the day. We got an ultimate rare variant of number 17. We got Adrius, Trias, and I don't remember if it was this set. I think it was the set where the windups, I think the original OG windup stiff came out of this set as well. So just an all-around amazing set. And there's a few cards I wanted to go over that are, for the most part, solo prints that are kind of underrated. Now, Oh Fish is going to be next. This is a solo print rare dawning out of Gen Force, and I don't know, I was just thinking, because of, there's a plethora of just random water decks, more specifically, again, I think Mermail Atlantean would be, the ideal. That's probably, the most popular water deck, probably up there with, Frog Monarchs, or, Frog Paleozoic, or those totally awesome decks. This is a kind of an interesting card. Now, it does do the recycle factor, which can kind of slow you down, but it's really nice how it stops any monster effect. And again, the sheer fact that this is a solo print rare is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of like playing with it. I'm kind of wondering like if people would just prefer to maybe use the Psalms because they're a little bit more generic, and I grant you have to pay life for that, but still there's a little bit more flexibility to that because you do need to kind of start slowly by doing the recycle on this for the recycling, the remove from play. But all around, kind of an interesting card in general, and really cool artwork on that too. Next is going to be Sea Lancer. So this is a solo print rare out of Gen Force, and I just think this has a really cool effect. It's kind of unique in its own merit. There isn't a lot of stuff that does something that just literally lets you pull essentially almost up to 5 monsters from your remove from play zone. And again, it is a solo print, which is really, really cool. And the best part of this is it's insanely affordable. I mean, even for first edition stacks, there's a 28 stack here for a quarter bone from Core TCG, which is really, really awesome. Moving on to the next card is going to be Drill Barnacle. Again, this is another solo print as a common out of Gen Force. Really cool artwork on this. I usually tech these in as a one-of in some of my anti-meta builds. I really, really like the effect on this. It's a water, level 3 aqua, and it's really surprising too, again, that a lot of these cards have not had even a single reprint, because obviously this set is like insane, like almost, well, it's about like a decade old now. So, and this is really affordable. I mean, well, we're gonna switch over to stacks here. It looks like I changed my settings because it is such an affordable card here. There's a stack of 3 and 6, well, not even a half bone here for a 6 stack for lightly played, 3 for near mint, and then there's a 12 stack here for lightly played again. So just insanely affordable and just an all-around really amazing tech card. Next is going to be Ghost Ship. This is a solo print rare out of Gen Force. Amazing artwork on this. I really love like the Phantom Ghost Spirit like pirate theme behind this. And again, this is a very, very old card, and it still has not seen the light of day on a reprint. I think ideally this would look amazing in a secret rare personally, but it's still cool that it just came as a rare. I mean, ideally, I feel like I wish it would have come super. I think it's definitely like good enough to be a super. It's kind of interesting that they only made this a rare. I feel like a lot of people don't like really know about this card. It's kind of like one of those cards that is kind of like not really mentioned a whole lot, but I think it's really good for what it is. I mean, it's a light level 5. Attack isn't really so great for a level 5, but I mean, it is a light fiend, so that's pretty cool. Fiend's usually dark, so that throws a little bit of uniqueness to it. But just another way to slap a level 5 body on board. And traditionally, depending on what you're playing, you could off-spark effects by removing that one light monster from your graveyard from play. So we're going to go ahead and look at some stacks here. It looks like the first stacks are unlimited, unfortunately, so I'm going to switch back to stacks here. This is insanely affordable. I picked up several copies of these myself. I really like this card a lot. There's a 5 stack for near mint first edition for under a half bone, like starting market price, and there's 3 pages of availability for stacks. So really great stuff on that. Next is going to be Gore's Emissary Darkness. This is a really nostalgic card. And this is probably like right up there as with like infamy of control of Mirror Force, because Mirror Force was kind of one of the first control cards that, I don't know if I can say control card, I don't know if that's the appropriate terminology, but it was a card that really made your opponents think. It really, you know, you would switch your monsters from attack to defense to kind of get around this card, and kind of this playing off that same merit, you would attack with your lowest monsters first before you know, because potentially back in the day, specifically back in like the 2011-2012 era Yu-Gi-Oh, this was very heavily played. Almost everyone had this in their deck, at least as a one-of, so it was a pretty big deal, and there's just some amazing history merit and just kind of fear behind this card. And obviously, there's some really amazing prints. We have a plethora of amazing prints to go through here. First one being the Ghost Gold Hybrid dawning out of Gold Series Haunted Mine. And there's completely no stacks. Been eradicated from the market for the stacks. This does not come first edition. Again, they're all limited edition because it is the Gold Series. This specifically one Gold Series did not come first edition, so you don't need to worry about that. Lightly played here is going to start for roughly around 29 bones. If you want near mint, it's going to go all the way up to 48 bones, and there's only 2 pages of availability for this. So this is obviously, as well as all the other Ghost Gold hybrids, being very, very unique on their own merit alone, being the one-ofs. They have increased tremendously, in value. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then of course we have the Retro Pack Secret Rare. This is going to be, you know, pretty good money. And then we also have an alternative version. It looks like, I think this was like the promo special for Dark Legends. So we have 2 secret print variants here. Actually, was it? I think there was 3. I don't know if this one was secret as well. Okay, no, that was just a rare. So the Dark Legends, this was like, it came in like a blister. There was like a couple blister packs, and this was like a promotional card that came like in between the packs and the plastic sealing. So it was pretty cool. Obviously back in the day, like really cheap, like very easy to get, highly overproduced. But now, you know, there's only 4 pages of availability, and we're seeing it sitting at roughly around 4 bones for lightly played. And then if you want near mint, you're going to go down to this, well, about the halfway through the second page, and it jumps all the way up to pretty much double for 8 bones for a stack of 5. And if we switch over to stacks here, there's only a handful of stacks here. There is a 3 stack for roughly around 4 before you factor in shipping. So really great stuff. Ideally, because this is the more affordable secret rare print and very much, in my opinion, just as aesthetically pleasing as the Retro Pack 2 secret rare. Obviously, the Retro Pack 1 is going to be more expensive because it's a lot more difficult to attain. But the Dark Legends promo secret is just as aesthetically pleasing, and it does the same thing, and just really great in general. If you guys don't want to go for the secret prints, there is also a really nice alternative from the Battle Pack Epic Dawn for the Star Foils, which is like an augmented version of DT in my opinion. I've been really getting into Star Foils of late, and I really feel like the market is shifting towards really picking up on the Star Foils and the Shadow Foils being augmented versions of DT. DT has obviously been discontinued for several years now and is just going up exponentially in value. And I'm going to kind of show you here a couple DT cards towards the end of the showcasing here. So this isn't too bad. I mean, there's a 4 stack here for like about 1.5 bones. And only 1 page of availability for stacks specifically on that. But just an amazing nostalgic card in general. Next is going to be Goblin Attack Force, going back here to Generation 1. This is one of my all-time favorite ultra-rare cards of all time. I know it's like an oxymoron, white Mexican saying ultra-rare and favorite in the same sentence. Ultra-rare is one of the most utterly disgusting rarities of all time, but I will give it that for Generation 1 ultra-rares, Konami really did it right. Their quality control was like amazing in the early 2000s, and they actually did ultra-rare right, and like they made them very aesthetically pleasing. And stuff like Shonen Jump, DT, Shonen Jump promos, DT, and these Generation 1 ultra rares are gorgeous, specifically for the first edition prints. So we're going to go ahead and look at some price values here. For looking at stacks, it's been completely eradicated from the market for first editions. There unfortunately is only unlimited, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the stacks here and try to find some first edition copies for you guys. There is about 4 pages here on the market. Not really much of anything, no surprise for the unlimited. It's pretty much rendered useless because this is going to be ideally locked in for a collector's market card, very nostalgic Generation 1 collector's market card. The first edition prints that we're going to get is a lightly played for roughly around 17 bones. That's a 1 stack. And then to get our near mint first editions, they're non-existent. So on the TCG platform here, there's actually TCGP platform, there is no near mint first editions. So if you guys have near mint first editions, you probably have a pretty good corner on the market here for this card. So again, amazing artwork and just an amazing set. Pharaoh Servant, then we got Jinzo out of this, really great stuff. So next is going to be Light Imprisoning Mirror. So we have a plethora of different variants here, mostly just rares and some commons, not really a big deal. If you want to go for the first edition Gladiator Salt ones, I guess that would be like the healthy alternative for a more affordable route, but obviously the highest rarity being DT commons are gonna be the aesthetically most pleasing. They're gonna really be like the best for your money per se, but it is gonna cost you a little bit more. And we've continued to see, and it's no surprise, like this and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror were like for the longest time like 2 bones a piece. They were like so incredibly affordable, and now we're finally starting to see a relatively higher rare price increase in these cards, and rightfully so. These are really great, for the most part, generic cards, because there is so many light and dark decks out there that run these engines. Starting market price for near mint is going to be roughly around 9 bones for this first 4 stack that we have here. Continues to trickle up after that. Only 1 page of stacks. If we take off the stacks, it's roughly around almost 5 bones for a lightly played, and then just 2 pages in general. So all around, just an amazing card, amazing rarity, amazing artwork, and a powerhouse deck. The sheer ability to just completely stop your opponent from using the effects in the grave or the field for attribute specific is really impactful. Moving on to Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, just the same. Got a plethora of, the Turbo Pack rares, the commons here, and then, like the Rainbow rares and all that stuff, but I don't really pay attention to that. It's kind of a market I'm not really familiar with, so I'm not going to speak on it. But the DT7 commons are going to be the ideal print, and it looks like there has been a pretty significant decrease on the market here. Like, looks like there's only 4 listings, and it looks like they're going for roughly around 5 bones. So there is, this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 1 page, 3 listings. This is almost completely cleared out. So, I mean, again, this is an amazing rarity, amazing card. Just really kind of no surprise that the numbers have been dwindling repeatedly on this. Lightly played is going to be around 8 bones for a 2 stack. There's a 2 stack of near mint for 20, and then it bottoms out at 20 for a 2 stack. So these 6 copies is all we have left on the market, and then there's going to be a whole new price load reflecting next. Next is going to be Gozen Match. So if you guys want to go for the first edition original Crossroads of Chaos, this was a very amazing set. This was the set that we got, Secret Village of the Spellcasters, Black Rose Dragon, not Witch of the Black Forest, what's the purple witch called? There are a lot of really great stuff. This was a really infamous set, so I would not discredit if you want to get a first edition original common, but rightfully so, Hidden Summoners produced the first super rare holo as a super rare, and these are relatively affordable. We can see for stacks, there's some Italian stacks here. Actually, these aren't even stacks, I'm sorry. There's the first stack here for near first edition for 2 bones, which I think is incredibly reasonable for what this card does. Again, situational to a certain extent, an ideal side card, obviously, but very important to have. I feel like every player should at least have a playset of this, just the same as Rivalry of the Warlords. Again, if you want to go for the original Generation 1 set prints, it's going to be Magician's Force for the first edition commons. I mean, kind of good luck trying to find stacks for the first edition commons, because it's competitive in general to find first edition Gen 1 cards. And if you want to go stacks, I mean, that's just going to be, go up exponentially for trying to find them. And yes, there is no first edition commons for stacks specifically. If you want to find a onesie, twosie here, 5+ pages, be my guest. But ideally, there is, again, the super rare reprint Holo Foil update, which looks really gorgeous personally. I feel like a lot of players really discredit super. I know a lot of reprint sets have kind of spent the hell out of super rare and ultra rare reprints, more specifically on ultra rares, seeing how we've had multiple sets specifically exclusively being only ultra rare, which really devalued and watered down the ultra rare market in general. Hence one of the major reasons why I'm always taking digs on ultra rares. Starting market price for this is going to be roughly around 4-ish bones, but then you got to factor in shipping. We're going to go ahead and switch over to stacks here. It looks like stacks start at about almost a phantom under 5 bones. So obviously this is a lot more, I guess, less situational. It all just depends on what you're playing. But you look at the price of Gozen for the same rarity. Is the same set too? Yes, both Hidden Summoners. So first edition super rares, 2 bones on match, and then for rivalry it's going to be about 5. So really cool artwork on this too. They both have really cool artwork, but for some reason this one for the current meta is more expensive, but it cannot, depending on what you're playing. Now you have to keep in mind, White Mexican, I'm a giant Antimeta fan. I love Antimeta. I've been playing Antimeta on and off for several years, and I like kind of blending and mixing different formulas and tech cards, and this is always, ever since it's pretty much dawning, has been like a stack that you need to pretty much on. And I main mine personally because this is so, for what it is, it's really good. And there's the ultra rare reprints, and then we got the crap gold, maximum gold stuff, but you can't beat the original print super rare first editions. These are just insanely affordable. This is a really, really good card. It's kind of difficult to play outside of Antimeta. I feel like this is so affordable because it is kind of like exclusively almost like manufactured specifically for Antimeta, and there's a lot of players that get really salty and really just don't really respect Antimeta because they just don't like playing against it, which is fine. I mean, to each their own. Like, everyone likes what they like, but you know, that's what I love about this game, is it's so diverse and you can really pick and choose what you want to play, which is really cool. But this is under a bone pretty much across the board, so really, really affordable. When we switch over stacks, it goes up a little bit to a little over 2 bones. There's a 4 stack here for lightly played first edition. There's a stack of 9 here for near mint first edition for not even 3 bones, which is completely reasonable given what the impact that this card can do. Really cool artwork on this too. Next is going to be Giant Tsunade. So I want to take a minute to just discuss, this is specifically the starter deck Joey. We're talking about Generation 1. We're going all the way back to 2002 era of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this was the only starter deck that had this, and this is the only the one of 2 prints that has the actual original OG magic stamps here in the corner. Really, really nostalgic, really important, really, really key for collectability purposes. Now, granted, it is just very much a common. It was not the original print, but the most important part is it's one of the 2 that has this magic stamp that's really, really important for collectability purposes. And for what it is, we're looking at stacks here. There is a stack of 9 here, again, specifically for the first edition, specifically only for this common variant. The other ones are spell card reprints, and they're just really not going to be much of anything. They're just way newer. It's roughly around 3 bones, which, you know, sounds like, oh man, 3 bones, that's pretty rough for just a common, but keep in mind, it is very much has that generation nostalgia of being magic stamped and first edition. And there's 2 pages of availability, so kind of curious where the stacks are going to end here. There's another stack of 14 here for 3 bones for near mint first edition. So there's plenty of opportunity for the most part to pick up on this. In the initial investment, obviously it's going to be a little bit pricey, but for what it is, we're talking about 2002 era Generation 1, like Wave 2 starter decks, ladies and gentlemen. This is really, really good stuff. Ideally, of course, we have the Spell Ruler reprint supers, which that's not at all, that completely did the name change. So I personally don't go for these. I really, really like the original print magic stamps for Magic Ruler. And there's also no first editions for Spell Rulers either. Or maybe there was like a really short print. I don't know. I've never seen any Spell Ruler first editions. There's like a conspiracy theory going on that I've done some research on, that apparently some players believe that there was some kind of first edition prints. I personally, I don't know. I haven't seen anything online. I could be wrong. That could be inaccurate, but I'm not really sure. But for looking stacks for the original Magic Ruler, Magic Stamped prints for the super rares, lightly played is, you know, unlimiteds, again, are only going to be around 3 bones. Then you have this, you know, sneaky shipping of 5. There is a single stack of 3 for first editions, and the starting market price for that is going to go all the way up to 80 bones, which sounds like a lot of money, but again, like, this is like Generation 1 set 3, and we're talking about the original Super Rare Holo Foils, highest rarity first editions. It's really incredible stuff here. And 4 pages for the onesie twosies for the non-stacks. If you want to get the most affordable first edition, lightly played, is going to be 19 bones. And there's about 4 pages in total here on the TCG format. So pretty incredible stuff on that. The last card that I have to showcase for you guys tonight is going to be Morphine Jar. And we have some really amazing prints. We have the original print, ultra rare out of Tournament Pack 2. Very collectible, very nostalgic, very old, very hard to attain. As well as the Tournament Pack 4 super rares. And a plethora of other things here. Even got a Battle Pack Star Foil as well, which is pretty cool. Ideally, I think the best print to go for the money, though, is going to be the OTS Tournament Pack 9 Super Rare reprints. They make these really good. They look very, very nice. And again, I might just be biased. I'm really big into Super Rare. And this card is really, really good. I'm pretty sure it's still, I don't know if they lifted, no, I'm pretty sure it's still at 1. Pretty sure it's still at 1. For the longest time, it was on the ban list, and it came to 1. Now it's still at 1, and this is a really, really good card. I mean, it's basically like card destruction, but, you know, monster format, but even better because you can potentially plus depending on how many cards you have in your hand. A really underrated card, and I think that this is just in insane affordable prices. There's a stack of 5 here for lightly played for roughly around 3 bones. Another 5 stack here for near mint for roughly around 3 bones. Again, I think this is a really great card, really great artwork, really great amazing history merit behind this. And, you know, just being so powerful that's at 1 and potentially having the ability to maybe... I'm an avid believer, White Mexican theory, that everything comes off the ban list eventually, regardless of like numbers or like being forbidden straight out. It's just a matter if Konami decides to rat them or not. Obviously, this didn't get an errata, but this is still a really, really good card. I grant it, you know, it's like a slower flip effect, but it's worth it for what it is, and it's just an amazing one of. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. Any of you guys can add me, message me. I would love to talk to you guys about anything Yu-Gi-Oh related. Yu-Gi-Oh has been part of my life for almost 2 decades. I feel extremely compassionate about this game. I love the deck building, the diversity, the creativity, the brotherhood. I'm so proud to be part of this Yu-Gi-Oh community. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.